Spark Books here. Today, I'm going to explain the book, Human Hacking, by Christopher Hadnagy with Seth Schulman. Take care, enjoy the book, and have a nice day. Human Hacking, 2021, is a guide to the art of ethical social engineering. Using the same tools of psychology and influence deployed by security hackers, it demonstrates how to boost social interactions in daily life. It covers a range of tips on how to adjust your natural communication tendencies to steer encounters to your advantage, with practical tools on how to influence others using empathy and compassion. Key idea number 1: influence individuals for their good. Christopher Hadnagy recently checked in with his family at Heathrow Airport. While he searched for passports, his wife praised the clerk's scarf. The attendant thanked me. This may appear forgettable, albeit enjoyable. If so, you'll miss out on human hacking. The author, a security expert, saw social engineering potential in this situation. He asked how much an update would cost. The attendant looked at his wife and whispered, "First class." Influence individuals by considering their best interests. What occurred? The author assumed this woman dealt with grumpy, stressed out passengers every day. He could tell by her smile that she'd been cheered by an unexpected praise. As a social engineer, the author recognized this was good for him and his wife, so he asked and was double rewarded. He didn't persuade the attendant into granting a free upgrade. Criminal hacking preys on people's emotions to compel obedience, regardless of the consequences. When applied ethically, social engineering makes people happier by providing you what you desire, as with the airplane attendant. Win-win. In the following sparks, we'll provide practical techniques to influence both friends and strangers. As you use these tools, remember the human hacking code of ethics. Leave people better off for having met you. Compassionately use these approaches, not to manipulate. Not so fast. Before influencing others, hack yourself. Key idea number 2: before judging others' communication, master your own. A friend asks you about a personal subject. He interrupts your honest judgment and deems you insensitive. You're surprised. You just answered a question. Your friend seems extremely sensitive. Could it be that your communication styles clash? Message: before judging others' communication, master your own. Be objective about your natural communication tendencies before hacking others. The author recommends William Moulton Marston's 1920s profiling tool disc. Dominants are confident and results-oriented, influencers are eager collaborators, sincere types are peaceful and supportive, and conscientious types are structured and factual. Ask yourself 2 questions to assess your position: people or results focused in social situations, direct or indirect? If you prioritize outcomes and like direct communication, you're likely a dominant or influencer. If you prioritize social connection and communicate indirectly, you're conscientious or sincere. Knowing where you fall helps you detect communication flaws. Consider conversations with friends, family, or coworkers where you express yourself in ways others don't enjoy. After identifying the issue, you can devise a solution. If you're an influencer, you may alienate coworkers by sharing too much in meetings. Next week, resist the impulse to talk about yourself wherever possible. Expect emotional reactions. If necessary, plan a break. Once you know your own disc tendencies, you may evaluate others. You may avoid hurting your friend's confidence by tailoring your critique to his communication style. Adapting your communication to others' requirements increases your chances of success. Key idea number 3: influence discussions through pretexts. Imagine getting an email from your supervisor saying, "Call me at 3 tomorrow." You worry about losing your job for 24 hours. The next day, when you contact your employer half asleep and anxious, she only wants to discuss a presentation issue. Wouldn't it have been nicer if she'd explained why she wanted to meet? Her end lacks a strong premise that sets up a successful social connection. The art of the start. Create excellent pretexts to influence talks. Pretexting means understanding others' needs to generate a favorable interaction. The author gives a 7-step methodology to pretext effectively before each conversation. Use it to prepare for conversations. First, define the problem and the result you want. Your daughter's grades are falling. Her schoolwork has suddenly declined. You should then be able to help her overcome her difficulty. Before asking her, consider the E, emotional milieu you want to create, and the P, provocation you'll need to do so. You want your daughter's talk to be peaceful. Frame the dialogue quietly and empathetically to promote calm. After striking the correct emotional tone, A, activate your pretext. This means explaining the interaction's pretext. Pretext: attentive and helpful parent. This pretext should guide all actions. After activating the pretext, render it. This is where, when, and how you convey your message. Evaluate whether each stage in the prepare framework matches with your pledge to help your topic. Like profiling, pretexting is about understanding others and finding a compromise that benefits both parties. Key idea number 4, build rapport and convince others to comply. We're all busy. When we meet new people, we analyze how lengthy an interaction will be and if it's worth it. If you're waiting in line for a coffee to go and someone taps your shoulder, replying may appear low risk. You may believe this encounter will remain until one of you pays and gets your drink, at most. Imagine being stopped on your way to a meeting. In this situation, you'll avoid interaction. You're busy. When establishing a discussion, demonstrate the other person you're worth their time. Build rapport and persuade others to accept your proposal. Since most social events have time limits, it's crucial to create rapport early on first meeting. If you don't have enough time to help someone, you'll likely decline. Developing rapport releases oxytocin, a hormone linked to trust and giving. When chatting with neighbors, chatting with clients, or asking a grocer how he's doing while weighing your items, most of us do it naturally. When time limitations aren't clear, like when you stop someone on the street, construct false time boundaries to build rapport. Don't ask a stranger if she has a moment. Please excuse me for 2 minutes. I'm new to the area and need an excellent eatery. If you give a pretense and imply a brief duration, the person will chat to you. Once you're allowed to continue a conversation, share personal details. If your client has a dog photo on her desk, you can chat about your own dog to develop rapport. Put your subject in charge. Ask about dog parks, for example. Information and authority inspire reciprocity. By creating rapport more often, you'll get what you want to make people feel good. Key idea number 5, influence others via subtle techniques. As a security specialist, the author broke into firm systems to find flaws. On his way to a company's executive offices, he observed the receptionist playing a computer game. This was an appealing social engineering opportunity. The author warned her he might see her screen. When her supervisor walked by, the receptionist stopped playing. She thanked the writer. He asked her to let him in. The receptionist realized he was lying when he said he was late for a meeting. She still buzzed him in. The author hacked all the company's data after this brief contact. Message: influence others via subtle techniques. The author didn't develop rapport or offer a pretense. In this case, he used the concepts of influence. He utilized reciprocation. He gave the receptionist useful information, so she returned the favor. Instead of putting your subject in a position of authority as in a rapport building exercise, put yourself there. Since we're trained to respect authority figures, suggesting expert knowledge can swiftly acquire people's trust. When seeking to get hired, employ job-related jargon. Test influence this week. Choose a friend and convince him to try something new. Paying for a raw food-averse friend's sushi meal activates the reciprocation principle. During the dinner, you can drop sushi words. Don't be surprised if your friend's potent influencing tools extend his culinary horizons. As you execute tactics, abandon or change as needed. Subtlety is crucial. If your motives are clear, others may find you unlikable. Key idea number 6, get info without asking. First date? Ask if your date desires kids, has a job, and shares your hobbies. Your date may lie. Meanwhile, you risk an interrogation. What if you could acquire all the knowledge you need without asking a single question? Using elicitation, you can reveal practically anything. Don't ask. Get knowledge without asking. Elicitation is a sort of influence that encourages others to reveal secrets. Criminals use this often. Spies construct false social media personas to communicate with unsuspecting users and steal financial details. Elicitation works because it's non-threatening. You must deliberately provide facts to motivate your subject to reveal more. You want to know if your date wants kids without asking. To find out, say, I read that many young people don't want families for environmental reasons. Without asking directly, a statement like this will likely elicit a telling reaction. Falsehoods are another easy tactic. If you purposefully say anything false, your subject will likely correct you and offer fresh information. It may be nonsense. One of the author's pupils used this trick to find out people's birthdays. If you're eating strawberries, your birthday's in February, he'd tell them. People would constantly correct the statement, revealing their actual birthdays. Clearer goals help you steer an encounter. With practice and success, you'll feel more confident in your eliciting skills. Key idea number 7, nonverbal clues can improve communication. When a friendly dog rolls onto its back and exposes its sensitive underbelly, it shows trust. Ventral display refers to an animal's or person's belly. If a person tilts his hips and belly toward you, it might also imply openness and ease, a behavior called ventral fronting by retired FBI investigator Joe Navarro. Understanding bodily clues improves social connections. Message: nonverbal clues can improve communication. It's helpful to monitor a person's comfort level during a conversation. Pay attention to nonverbal body language to do this. Social engineers can tune into ventral displays. To express openness, people tilt their heads and show their wrists and hands. Exposed palms and neck convey friendliness when inviting someone to lunch. Keep your palms down and head straight to appear more formal. Nonverbal clues might increase your rapport building efforts when entering a social scenario. If feasible, watch a stranger or a friend for 20 to 30 seconds. This is lengthy enough to pick up critical messages but not awkward. If a person abandons open ventrals and adopts self-protective signals during a conversation, adjust your approach or end it. You can also utilize body language to influence people's emotions by showing open ventrals. Due to a process called mirroring, smiling stimulates favorable emotions in onlookers. Body language that conveys contentment and confidence is usually rewarded. Key idea number 8, recognize manipulative tactics to avoid them. Have you put a jacket on the seat next to you to avoid sharing? You might wear headphones to avoid being asked if a seat is taken. Such instances aren't hacking, but manipulation. You would use ethical influence tactics to persuade anyone who sought to sit next to you to move. Forcing others to make a decision based on false pretenses for personal gain is manipulation. Message: recognize manipulative tactics to avoid them. Manipulative behavior is typical when strangers compete for scarce resources like bus seats. In little ways, it's also widespread in daily life. Are you honest when you desire something from a friend? Or do you sometimes use emotions to influence someone? Like social engineers, manipulators play on human psychology to succeed. Daniel Goleman calls manipulation emotional hijacking. Scammers and manipulators utilize fear and pain to trigger the amygdala, which shuts down critical thinking and increases susceptibility to external influence. Manipulators use forced evaluation to make individuals mistrust what they know. Even if you didn't sign up for the email, it may hijack your amygdala and convince you to click. Or a firm could persuade employees to work harder by announcing staff layoffs. Uncertainty causes bewilderment and psychological impotence, which can have long-term implications. Take the high road instead of manipulating and causing pain. Ask yourself what manipulation strategies you employ and how you may replace them with profiling, pretexting, rapport building, and body language. Human hacking should benefit both parties. Before hacking others, master your own communication habits. Consider others' emotional needs to create rapport and increase consent. Deploying subtle techniques of influence and detecting nonverbal signs will also help. Human hacking should be used with empathy and compassion to make others happy. To view more content like this, subscribe. Don't forget to like and turn on notifications. The channel really benefits from it. I appreciate you being here.